bumping away, streaming for all to see. Cachorro, Cachorro. Your dog superheroes is today for you and me. Cachorro,
What's up, Cachorrites? We are back with our final recap of Agatha All Along. Just finished the final 2 episodes just a little bit ago, and figured we should go ahead and just wrap it up since we did our first couple episodes, we did a mid-cap, season recap, so now we'll finish it off with what I thought about the show. Quick recap, in case you missed the other 2 videos, is when they first announced this show, I didn't think it needed to be made. I didn't think I liked her character from WandaVision, but I didn't think it needed a spin-off show. On top of that, then I thought they waited way too long to make the show to where the character lost popularity, which arguably some could argue it has, since there's supposedly the ratings for the show are very good, but supposedly the viewing numbers are not very high. Because supposedly it wasn't that expensive of a show either, so whatever you want to take that as. So I went over the show with I didn't expect a lot from it. And I've really enjoyed the show. I thought so. The first 2 episode season premiere, I thought did a good job of getting me into the show. Let's scroll up here. So he gets down the road where the first episode was about her breaking out of her spell. That may have been. I didn't think that was a strong episode because I think she does do this throughout the show a little bit, where Catherine Hahn can kind of Jim Carrey it a little too much, where she kind of goes a little overboard. Some good old do. And there's a couple parts in that show that I thought she was just being a little over the top. But the second show was she meets the sidekick character, and we have the. We find out more, and they start the whole thing, and they're putting together the crew, the Ocean's 11, kind of putting together the Covenant kind of crew, and they start their voyage onto the road. That's where, all right, this show looks kind of cool. I like it. So the mid-season, we went through a lot of the trials and tribulations. They were doing their trials. We find out Agatha's kills one of the Coven members and drains her power. We find out the teen is Wanda Maximoff's child, Billy, from WandaVision. I think that's where we left off in the last video. So the background, there was the episode of the background of him. Kind of just made everybody kind of figure that part already. But they kind of teased at one point maybe he was... Well, we'll get to that in a bit, because that's going to tie into what we're about to wrap up in. So the final 3 episodes, I think started off really good, and then I thought the season finale was a little lackluster. I think they kind of wrapped it up kind of wimpily. But still, overall, I think the show was good and all. Season 1, episode 7, Death's Hand in Mine. So we find out that the Coven members that Billy threw off the road, they sank into the muck. They survived. They fall into some cave-like thing at the bottom. So this episode is heavily revolved around Patti LuPone's character Lily Caldero, the soothsayer. They can kind of see the future, but she's kind of mumbo jumboed. And this is, a good actress. She's done tons and tons of work. Obviously, she's up in the age a little bit, so. American Horror Story. Penny Dreadful. So she's done work in the Hollow. I mean, she's been in tons of stuff, so she's a really likable actress. Anthem? Oh, my podcast series. I'm sure if it's anything to do with the game. So she's done tons of stuff, TV shows, movies. So good actress. Definitely one of the more likable characters on the show. Of the other Covens. So we're kind of going through. She's trying to, because apparently when she sees, it's her jumping throughout periods of her life and stuff like that. So she's kind of always bouncing around and jumping from character to, jumping. Her persona jumps from time to time. So her trying to get her powers under control. In this episode, we do learn that Rio, Aubrey Plaza's character, is the first Green Witch, which is she is Death. So we find out that's her real identity. So they're going through the caves to try and find their way out, but they feel they got to get to. Well, she has to get to Teen/Billy because she can probably get them. Meanwhile, they're in a throne room thing, and this week's disguise is looks like they give them like Disney witches, I would assume. Like, Teen kind of has like in a I can't remember the Disney movie with the Elmore Maleficent, something like that. I can't say it. Agatha's dressed up like the Wicked Witch of the West. When they do end up joining, Lilith gets a Good Witch of the East outfit, and what's the other character? Jennifer Kale. She's kind of got like the Snow White evil witch kind of look to her. So just some type, some famous movie, I guess, movie witches is what they're all supposed to be. I don't know if it's anything, things like that. So the final battle is to have to read tarot cards. There's a ceiling with all these swords in it, and every time they put a card in the wrong spot, a sword will fall. Meanwhile, the ceiling is also lowering to the ground. So without the other two witches, they're trying to do the tarot card thing, and they're failing. And then obviously the other two witches finally find their way to them. And Lily tries to do a tarot card reading on Teen, and it's not working. And she quickly realizes that she has to do the tarot card reading on herself. So she is able to pull it up, opens the door, but the Salem 7 have found them. So they get them all to go through the exit of the door, and then Lily closes the door and stays behind. And then she starts confronting the Salem 7. Like, once you beat a trial, the road doesn't get very happy about that. And then the whole room flips upside down, and everybody, her included, fall into the roof of swords, sacrificing herself. That one hurt. Like I said, I really liked her. Seeing her die off like that, I was like, oh, you kind of really get to kind of like her. So that was a very strong episode, and it's probably the best episode of the show, and so far it is the highest ranked episode of the show. IMDb currently has a 9.2 rating. That's the only one I believe that's over 9. So 7, 3, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 3, 7, 9 on the Darkest Hour, where that was the one where Alice died. 8.2 was where we found out who Teen really is. So then we jumped up a full 9.2. That was a powerful episode. It's gone over very well. So then that jumped us to the finale. And the first episode of it, episode 8, was Follow Me, My Friend, The Glory at the End. So we have the teen, or Billy and Jennifer are trying, or back where the door closed and trying to get Lily, and they're talking about Lily sacrificing herself. Meanwhile, Agatha has moved forward and she's confronting Rhea. And pretty much finding that Rhea wants Billy because he's not Nat. She knew who he was, and he's not supposed to be here. But so she can't kill him because then he'll just reincarnate somewhere else. He has to give up, sacrifice, and go with her. And Agatha guy's like, "Why? I can make that happen. I can deliver him to you." If so she's being the ultimate, so pretty much she's been told the whole show. She's a con person trying to get whatever benefits her. So the group ends up going back together, and Catherine Zahn's laying it a little over the top in this episode again. So they end up at the beginning where they left all their shoes, and they feel like everything went wrong. And Billy screw the road, man. I'm putting my shoes on. It doesn't respect us. I don't respect it. He puts the shoes on, and that actually is what launches them into the finale room. And I guess I could do that, something like that, yeah. So that's just to make the deals. They find the shoes. They end up in this room with grow lights, and they're like, but it's all concrete and walls, and there's nothing to really grow. So they kind of start doing figuring each other's things out. We find out that Agatha is the one that somehow binded Jennifer's powers because she was doing it for some other reasons and didn't mean for it to bind her. So she grabs Agatha's hands, wraps them up in her hair, and she does like a give me my power back on binding spell. She gets her powers, which is what she's wanted from the road, and she's free and gone. So then you get the heart moment of Agatha with him, and she's like, "Well, you have to bring, because he wants his brother Tommy. You have to bring Tommy into this world. He's got, he doesn't exist in the world yet, but you can bring him in the same way you did." So they're pretty much saying that he has to find someone of dead body to put Tommy in. And supposedly there's this instant, so they see a spot where a kid gets pushed into a lake and drowns. I think this is Jason. So kid gets pushed into the lake, drowns, and supposedly it's implied that he puts Tommy's soul into that body. And then he disappears. So then we're just left with Agatha. And when he disappears, it kind of causes this. And the lights are turning off one by one. So when the lights are all out, that means you've failed the test. So it ends up being that he created some cracks in the ground that expose some dirt. So she's looking at her pendant, which inside she has hair of her son. And it looks like a flower seed that she's able to put in the ground and get a dandelion to grow right as the last light's going out. And she barely beats the test, so she's able to get out as it fills out. And she comes out of her basement into her backyard, where she has to face off with Death. So Death's coming for her, and she's like, So they do a little bit of a magical power-up battle until Billy shows back up to help her. And she's like, "Yeah, we can't beat Death. It's Death. It's like, what are we doing here? We're not going to win." And Billy's like, so he does the whole, I surrender, let her go, and I give myself to you. And they're like, there it is, see, I got him to surrender to you. Here's my end of the deal. And starts acting like that. So this putting off this whole thing was the ruse the whole time. Her character is very confusing because you don't know when maybe she's just taking advantage of the situation, or was this her actual plan? And then in the next episode, we're gonna find out some real crazy shit. So she walks off, and he's all he brings, what is he? Shocked that this was I guess, well, he was giving himself up to her anyway, so I don't know. But now he's like, oh, well, I can't believe this. He brings up her son, something like that. He mentions her, so I can't remember exactly how it was. He brought up her son. And so she turns around because he hits a moment, and she goes up to Aubrey Plaza and just grabs her and starts kissing her. And that kills Agatha. I guess they touched each other. I don't know how that works. It's a big old kiss, and the kiss of death. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Now it makes sense. Kiss of death. So Agatha falls down to the ground. Next thing you know, see like a flower bed. Her little amulet falls, and Billy picks it up. And the whole time with this battle, sometimes you'll see Aubrey Plaza's face will have like skull parts on her, like the whole bottom part's like a skull and stuff like that. And they did a really good job with that. I thought that effect looked really cool. She's like, "You're free, go." So now she got Agatha, so she's happy with that, and lets the other guy go. To which, so then we see Billy go back to his home, meets his parents from William's parents. And he goes up to his room to, I guess, compress, and he starts noticing all the stuff all the stuff on his walls corresponded to what they just went through. He had the Wicked Witch of the West. He had Wizard of Oz stuff there with the Wicked Witch of the West and the wall and the road. The artist stuff on there. He had a Ouija board. So he's pretty much finding all the stuff that was they went through. There's like something about that in his room, and it's starting to piece it together that he WandaVisioned it. That it was him. And that's where that episode pretty much ends. So so he's like kind of coming to this revelation. All of a sudden you see hear Agatha's voice, and he turns, looks at the camera, and freaks out. So that's how that episode ended. So our big final battle was ended with a kiss. Which is going to get the right-wing homophobic people screaming on YouTube. Gay, lesbian kiss. Because all of a sudden now I guess guys don't like when hot girls kiss. But, I mean, Plaza's... I already glad kissing another woman's not a problem for me at all. So, like I said, this kind of wrapped up pretty conveniently. So, like, kind of a weak final fight, I think. But you got him. Here he is. He's turned himself over. This show never really seemed like it was going to be a huge action type show anyways. It's about just witches. You know? So I was like, alright, well, let's see what they got to say for the final. Well, I guess they have one more episode. What's in this final episode, right? So the final episode is Maiden Mother Crone. And this is where the show kind of felt like it was definitely a movie. Like it had the movie format, because if this was an M. Night Shyamalan movie, this is where you get the whole reveal of the twist. Like here's all the things you missed. So we start off. It's like the 1750s. We see Agatha. So we're getting a flashback on her. She's struggling. She's pregnant, and looks like the pregnancy's not going so well. She's by herself walking through the woods. All of a sudden, Rhea shows up there, and she's dressed all like. Where we see a lot of stuff we've seen her in the show. She's kind of got that dark, evil kind of outfits on. Here she's kind of got more of a brighter green kind of feel to her. She'll show that. So she got this kind of look going on. This, of course, we first see her. This is later in the episode, but this full green robes, green flame, all that stuff like that. And so she's not cleaner looking than she's been in some of the other scenes we've seen her in. And she's coming for Agatha's kid, and Agatha's like begging for time, is like begging her not to take him. So we find out that the kid was going to die at birth, and she was coming. So we saw in the last episode where there's a scene where Rhea shows up where Alice dies, and Alice's spirit leaves her body, and she goes, "I'm here. It's time. I'm here for you." And she's upset about, it's like, I wanted more time. I just broke the curse. I thought I'd do more. It's like, you're a protective witch. You died protecting. And they go through the door to the underworld, or the wherever the dead souls, wherever death takes the souls. So we kind of got the image of that. So they just set that up in the previous episode, that she claims when people die, she comes and claims the soul. So she comes with the kid, and she makes Agatha, kind of a promise, like, I can't save him. I'll give you all I can offer you is time. So she refuses. So she pretty much doesn't take him right there. Let's take it, but it says, hey, it's just a matter of time. I'm going to be coming back for him. So we get a scene where Agatha has the baby. And there's a point where she's like trailing the baby and walking through the woods. Comes across a thing of witches. She talks them into letting her pass into their safe circle. And then we see a lot of the glowing effects to show that she kills the witches. And then we jump up 6 years later. We see the kid a little more grown. He steals something from a woman and gets a couple women to chase him. Supposedly, I guess these are all witches. They keep hanging around, obviously keep going to, I guess, where the witches are. And they all come running in Agatha's house, where she kills them again and, I guess, takes her powers. Because pretty much we're seeing that Agatha's whole thing is she's a leech. She has to drain power. Which kind of thought that was just a setup from the last. That wasn't her entire powers. That was just something she stumbled upon. But obviously, that's kind of been her thing all along. Is that she's a power stealer. So we're going through scenes of her and the kid running, tricking witches into so Agatha can kill them. Then we get to a part where the kid is on a barrel, and they're singing and we also see where the beginning of the Witch's Road song, where they kind of start singing the song a little bit, and it keeps turning more and more into the Witch's Road. So he's now on a barrel. He's singing the Witch's Road song, and other supposed witch that's a beautiful song. Where did you learn that song? That's such an interesting song. And I guess he was supposed to trick them into following, but he doesn't. So they're giving him money and stuff like that. And then they're like, oh, well, you should come and we'll give you some food and stuff. And he goes, no, I have to get back to my mother. And takes off and runs out the door. They surprise Agatha, then has to go chasing after him. So it looks like he refused to do the scan. He refused to kill him. Would be my interpretation of that scene. So we run into him in the woods, and he goes, we can always kill more witches tomorrow. So it looked like he just had a heart where he didn't want to do it. So they have this little scene, and she shows him some, just pulls off some of her powers and says stuff like that. And then they lay down to go to sleep. That's when she's having birth. So we have some scenes of them on the road, and then he kind of wakes up. We see him kind of wake up, and he spots Rhea, and she just does this. And he starts to come, and he points to her mother, and he goes and he kisses mom on the cheek a few times, and then he comes and meets her, and they walk down this little bridge. So then we go to a scene with Agatha. She's waking up. The kid's kind of, you see the top of the kid's head there. So there, and she starts trying to wake him, and he won't wake up. And then you kind of hear her yelling in pain and sympathy and stuff like that. Real sad. So we see a scene where and then she's burying him, and she starts singing a song, and someone stumbles across this. Well, she looks a lot better. She didn't look as bad as she does there. So this one other woman stumbles across her, here singing the song. She's like, "Do you know the way?" And this is where I can see where some people get out, because Catherine Hahn's performance is like, she always like yells at somebody when she's like that. She can be a little over the top. So she kind of snaps at her. But she goes, well, wait. The Witch's Road. Yeah, I can tell you there, but we have to have a coven first. So then we see her with this woman and a couple other women. They sing the Witch's Road song. She does this whole, oh, you guys suck. You're terrible witches. Oh, you're horrible people. Pissed. Just berating them until they start zapping her. And she sucks them and drives them die. Then we jump forward in time. We see her do it with another group time. It just sees her keep repeating the same thing. They sing the song. She starts berating them. They zap her. She sucks their powers and kills them. So it like jumps through like some centuries of stuff of her doing this. To where we see the part where she's doing it in the beginning of back in episode 2, she's doing it. She's doing her whole thing. Then she starts berating them about them being bad witches. All of a sudden, then there's the door. And it really focuses on how she's shocked that there's a door and doesn't know, like everybody's like, oh, wow, it worked. And she's like, what? Like, why? Going back to why she was so surprised it worked. And then Teen comes running down and opens the doors and goes down. So they're implying that she knew at that point he created it. That wasn't supposed to work, because we're finding out that this whole thing was a scam. She scammed witches in the thing, and there was a witch's road to do this ritual so she could get them to zap over with her powers and kill them. So it never was real. And then it's also implying that when the door did appear and Teen came running down there and went through it, that she is now on to knowing that that's who pretty much saying that she realized that's who he was right then. That he was Wanda's child. And he created it. To be fair, there's some flaws with this. It doesn't add up to other stuff in the show. Because there's a scene at one point where Rhea was even like, that's not your son. And Agatha had a reaction to that. So, was that just supposed to be a fake reaction to Rhea? Like, oh, no, it's not my son. I know that. I know whose son it is. I mean, she kind of was like onto it. I mean, there was one point where she kind of said she had an idea, then she wasn't sure, then she... So, I mean, it's possible maybe she had a thought it was, maybe she wasn't positive, and maybe she lost her faith in it at one point, but did kind of feel like she could not have known that's who he was all along. Like they keep doing that all along stuff, don't they? There has been heavily hinted at during the show that she gave up her, and to go with this whole theory about her being thinking it was her child, is that she gave up her child for the Darkhold. Was what it was addressed at a couple times. I mean, she was supposed to lose her son at birth. Rhea gave her time, and she knew, and there was a part where she was talking to someone where she knew that his time, she wasn't going to be able to protect him in the end, that eventually his time was going to be up, that she was going to come back for him. So the whole Darkhold thing don't make a lot of sense on why would people say she traded her son for the Darkhold? And I mean, that was 100% nothing close to that ever happening. That she supposedly started that rumor herself or something like that. Now let's get to the Witch's Road being a massive scam. at the point of the beginning of the show, the Witch's Road is like a heavily known thing that all the witches know about. All the witches are familiar with the Witch's Road. There was a pop song. The one mother wrote a pop song version of the Witch's Road. So this is like a well-known thing, and everybody and people all know the words to the song and all this stuff. So if it was just a scam that it doesn't exist, and it was just a scam to draw people in so she could kill them, then how would it have gotten well known that the Witch's Road was a thing? I mean, the only person I would have heard anything was like the people at that one bar when he sang on a barrel, the kid sang on a barrel singing, and there was like a redhead chick that really enjoyed the song. We're supposed to imply that she was the only one that, this one redhead chick, probably redheaded witch, passed this whole mythos of the Witch's Road that made it a wide known thing that all witches know about. So like I said, even the witches they had in this beginning show, they knew the words to the song. They knew how to sing the song. And everybody knows the words to the song and what it's supposed to do and everything's supposed to promise. And all the mythos that goes around it, it just sounds improbable that it'd be that well known. And what you need, we gotta have the Green Witch. We can't do the road without a Green Witch. If it was only used as a scam to lure in witches to kill them, it wouldn't be so widespread known. So that's kind of the fallacy in that whole. This is all the Witch's Road is fake. It's always been fake. Never supposed to work. So that's my 2 cents on that. I was like, that don't make sense. It doesn't work because nobody would be familiar. It would not be that well known and familiar. So then we finally jump back. So after we see that part where why she was so shocked about it when it worked at the beginning. We cut back to the present, and Teen's confronted by Ghost Agatha, now who's got super long gray hair. And she's got like, oh yeah, this is my new form, and so she's kind of playing off that this was a calculated risk she took to become a ghost, and that all the hope that, and supposedly she's at Teen's house because she wants her pendant that he took. And so he starts questioning her, and so she goes, yeah, it's like, turns out you are Maximoff after all. And then we kind of like see her talking all like, oh, you're just like your mother. Oh, this is not my mother, so in the show, pointing that, yeah, she knew all along. That she, I guess there's hinting that she knew this whole thing was fake. The Witch's Road was fake. And that he was creating it. So yeah, so they're putting that up there. So your point is like, yeah, you created it. The Witch's Road was a scam that I used to kill other witches, and so he's now blaming himself for the death of everyone involved. And she's like, well, no, I killed Alice. So I was like, that one's not on you. And Lily made a choice. And then came back to Mrs. Hart's like, well, yeah, that one's kind of on you. So it continues, just pretty much wrapped up. Then you save the life, and we see that she comes climbing out of the ground at the Westview sign, and she uses her powers to fly off. So she made it out. She got her powers back. So he saved her. There's Ghost Agatha. So pretty much, she's like doing the whole reveal, like, oh, everything was all this and fake and everything. And she gets to the point where he tries to banish her. She's like, I don't care about you anymore. You're dead and you need to go. And she like fights against it, and she interrupts the ritual and says she doesn't want to go because she doesn't want to face Nicholas. It doesn't really make a lot of sense because the show's kind of put off that he just kind of died out of the blue on her, and that she really did have feelings for him, and it was after he died that she just. She did just move to the next scam like nothing at his burial. So it kind of don't really make sense on why she would be afraid to face him. She's afraid of what she was already killing witches around him, so he already knew it was happening. So that didn't make a lot of sense either. But they decide that, Tommy's out there and you got to go find Tommy, and they're going to be a team. And he starts using his magic. He uses magic to he goes back to Agatha's house. So he uses his magic to put like the names of everyone who died on the Witch's Road on like a little plaque in the basement. He opens up the basement doors, and pretty much the poor people of Westview are like freaking out. I think something's about to happen again. So the last 2 episodes. And so leaves off on them to are going off to go look for Tommy. That's how the episode ends. That's how the show ends. There's no post-credit scenes or anything like that. Honestly, I felt like this whole episode was kind of just the post-credit scene in a way. Like the twist reveal post-credit scene. That's what this episode was, because the big battle was the previous episode. I don't even call it the big battle, but the final boss fight was the previous episode. This is an epilogue. There's not supposed to be a sequel to this. It's supposed to be a limited show, so that's already out. Obviously, they're introducing his character, Wiccan, to probably push towards the Young Avengers stuff that I guess they're still doing. Which, I don't know, I think the Young Avengers stuff was supposed to be being set up because they were going to obviously need to move away from older actors as they got older, but now they're just going to reboot everything after Secret Wars anyways. Probably give us a new Captain America, new Iron Man, all that kind of stuff. So you might not need the Young Avengers that early. So, but I guess they're still moving forward with them. And so I guess Wiccan's going to have a ghost Agatha, so they found a way to keep her character alive. To be fair, I think you could have probably killed off her character right here at this point in the show. But they're keeping her around as Ghost Agatha because I guess they like her so much, so they're finding a way to keep her around for that, and he's just be the comedy sidekick that's going to be with Wiccan, I guess. I don't know much about him in the comics, so I don't know if he has a ghost partner or anything like that. So I don't know if they're borrowing that from something or not. Or it was just a ploy just to keep Catherine on in the MCU. So, like I said, it kind of felt... I mean, these episodes have both gotten pretty high ratings on IMDb. They're both over 8. So, they've gone over so well. But I do find like this kind of was a weak finale. Kind of feel like we needed the cat... That her whole reveal... I don't know, because you couldn't really put it earlier because it would have gave away the twist, so you guess you got to have it at the end. But, I mean, that last episode was nothing much going on. And do we get any surprise cameos here? I don't know any of these people. Hollywood Tavern Witch. That was the witch that's... So they're reverse believe that, yeah, this Tavern Witch is the witch that like went back and spread the rumors of the Witch's Road. You see, like, the only witch that heard the song, pretty much. I guess there's other people in the tavern now. They're the only people that heard the song and hypothetically have lived. This doesn't make sense. Well, yeah, well, that's good. If people look that up, they're gonna get mad. So, definitely think episode 7 was really, really good. I would definitely give that high. All these, no real big cameos from anybody. All these were just pretty much paid extras that popped in as other witches. So that I'd give high marks to. This is a strong episode. I'd definitely in the 8.5, 9 range. The season episode how many was there? 9. This was 9, right? Mother Crown was 9, so 8. 7.5. And episode 9, I'd probably drop down to 7 at the highest, maybe 6.5. Just because it's just the twist, the M. Night Shyamalan twist. Oh, it was all he created it all out of his. Well, we kind of got that in the previous episode that he was all the stuff that was in the road was in his bed in his room. So that was just the big reveal. We get the whole Agatha's backstory and find out what happened, what really happened with her kid, and how that was completely opposite of everything else we've been told or hinted at. Wasn't even close. And then, hey, let's team up. We make a good team. Let's team up together. Like you did find out she's an evil witch and manipulative. Well, I mean, we already knew that most of this anyways, but we also now know she's a super mass murderer, and we're both like, oh, cool, go take up with the good guy. She's cool now. She's a ghost. It's okay. So, yeah, very weak on the ending. But overall, the show was still pretty good. I think the next, so I believe there's going to be a Vision show that's supposed to wrap up the whole WandaVision storyline. And then I guess I'm assuming Wiccan's going to get, Billy/Wiccan's going to get rolled into something else, like Young Avengers, or start popping up some other shows. I don't know if he'll get his own spinoff or not. They can't give everybody spinoff shows because they don't want to put money into making stuff. Marvel announced their upcoming Marvel TV thing, including the release of Wolverine and Deadpool on Disney Plus, which I thought was funny that that was advertised as their Marvel TV spots. We know we have a couple animated shows coming. What If Season 3, that should be fine. What If's usually pretty good. I would prefer the What If it was more standalone episodes and not like a bunch of episodes where they were going to they roll in a character from them to the finale. Like we had an Avengers team in season 1, and then we had the whole Peggy Carter and I can't remember the Native American girl's name. So how they kind of rolled into the season 2 finale. Just it's What If, man. You could just do standalone episodes. It's okay. That's kind of the whole point of What If. But that show's usually pretty good. There's gonna be a Marvel Zombies animated show that comes out next year. That should be good. I would imagine that should be fine, and see if they take more liberties. There's already like a hint that there's a Moon Knight blade in it. We also have a Wakanda animated show, which I wasn't too hip on the Wakanda show to begin with, but animated show sounds like it could be kind of interesting. Live action wise, we're getting Daredevil. That should be killer. Wonder Man, that did not look good at all. That looked very uninteresting. And feels like I'm missing one. What am I missing? I definitely missing something. I just don't remember what it was. How far back did you guys talk about it? I missed another cartoon. That's what. Okay, I missed a few things. So yeah, what if will come out this year, season 3? That should be fine. Another cartoon, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, should be out in January. Looks like it's very, very early Spider-Man. He doesn't even have his outfit, and I imagine that's probably is going to be more kid friendly. Kitty. Daredevil Born Again is in March. That should be good. That looks good. Ironheart in June. I'll say the little tidbit trailer they showed made it a little more interesting, but I'm still not super hype on that show. I don't really think that actress is very impressive to me. Eyes of Wakanda is August. That's an animated show. That's the animated show I mentioned before. Looks like it could be interesting. It's about warriors throughout time having to go find vibranium things. So I don't know if it's. Looks like there's supposed to be. I don't know if it's 4 episodes or if it's like 4 little mini series of episodes. But there's supposed to be like 4 tales. Marvel Zombies comes out around Halloween. Perfect. And then Wonder Man tour at Christmas. It's a streaming service you're putting out material for. Why they feel like they can only do one at a time, and typically they don't even overlap it with Star Wars most of the time. Because right now, we get a Star Wars thing in December. That's the Skeleton Crew. And then I guess at the end of the month, that's when What If will start. And that'll kind of, I guess, I imagine the Star Wars show is still going on at the same time. So I guess that will overlap. But it's a streaming service. People are buying your streaming service for Marvel and Star Wars content more than they are for any of your other Disney Plus stuff that you're putting on there. Unless you're putting on there, unless you're going to put your Aliens and Prey stuff on there, which supposedly that's just sticking to Hulu. Make more stuff. You can have multiple shows going at the same time. Especially if you aim the shows at different audiences. What If should be a good general audience? Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, that's going to be probably a kid audience. I mean, your Super Marvel stands will probably watch it, but that's probably going to probably have a super general appeal. And you get Daredevil. That's going to be popular for an adult audience. So you can do multiple shows if they have different audiences. If you have something the same for a younger crowd, something the same for an adult crowd. Otherwise, I don't see how you're going to pay off all this stuff you keep trying to tease. They have so many characters they haven't used yet, the mutants and all that and stuff like that. And then all these characters they want to try and push stuff with, the Kate Bishops, the Wiccans. Unless you start overlapping and stuff, and the reason why some of your stuff fails is because you don't give people the ones that they want, and then they take it out on the things that they don't really want. Like people were hating this show because one character was gay, even though you only really see him be gay in one episode, and then the main character has a strange relationship with the other female character in the show, who is Death. So technically, I wouldn't consider her a female. Death is Death. It's genderless. It's my thing on Death. The Grim Reaper isn't a male or female. It's just an entity. Death is an entity. We've seen characters fall like Deadpool and Thanos have fallen in love with Death. So, what was hinted that she kind of at one point sounded like she said somehow she created her child, which I'm pretty sure I'd probably get people to groan. She kind of whispers some stuff under her breath at the tree, and it almost sound like she's something, no magic, no nothing like that, created from scratch or something. I can't make up what she really said, but there was a hint that she made her own baby, which is gonna get like the Star Wars people throwing a hissy fit. It's Marvel Anakin. People get way too uptight about stupid stuff like that. But so where Wicked's gonna come back in? No clue. There's no Wanda, nothing Wanda tease, nothing like that. And like I said, there's no post credit scene on top of that. And a lot of the episodes were showing that he does not seem to have any desire for his mother. Which kind of makes no sense, as they were super loving and connected in the WandaVision show, and Wanda had to make the decision to give them up to free the people of the town. She woke up, realized what she was doing wrong. She hijacked and kidnapped a ton of people, and she had to free. And she realized the right thing to do was to free them, which means she had to give up her kids and give up Vision. Her loss of Vision caused her to do this. Her loss of giving up her kids and her life with Vision leads her to evil Wanda in the Doctor Strange movie, which I still love that movie. I think that movie is really cool. So the whole point of that movie is she's looking for another reality of her children. So just have one of her child not give two shits about her in this show kind of makes no sense. So there's nothing to indicate that why there's a reason he should. Oh, he's mad because she gave him up. Well, because she had to for the greater good. She was hijacking people's brains, a whole city's consciousness. So that's kind of weird that he wouldn't care about his mother at all. But yeah, so that's Agatha all along. Solid show. Overall, the whole show. Seven and a half. It was fun. It was quirky. It's some cool stuff in it. It was entertaining. Just a lackluster ending. And until we have something else to review, got Godzilla Day coming, so we got Godzilla stuff coming. So keep an eye out for that. Till then, Cachorro out.